Look, if you got the Justice Department, you got the DHS catching and deporting illegal immigrants, but then somebody in the judiciary comes around and say, nope, can't do it, it's unconstitutional. Look, the one thing that we are very clear on is that the Constitution only applies to U.S. citizens. It has never applied to non-citizens. If I'm wrong about that, please somebody correct me and tell me where I'm wrong. I don't believe I am wrong. So basically what this means is that he is free out of any kind of criminal charges, says Sanchez Roig. Now, Border Patrol is going to have a harder time with such a ruling. They're probably going to think in the back of their mind, well, if I catch this guy, they're just going to send him back anyway, so just might as well let him go because, then my life won't be in danger. Build that freaking wall tall. I mean, it's just... We got to deal with illegals all the time in all walks of our daily life. And then one of them decides, well, I'm not just an illegal immigrant. I am a tangible, pretty eagle. Well, Latinos can be pretty. Have you ever seen them? I've mentioned this before. Mentioned that before, how pretty some of them are. There is that movie Concussion with Will Smith out there. It's not one that I'm interested in seeing, but the pathologist that Will Smith is portraying in the film says Concussion believes 90% of NFL players have some form of a long-term brain damage. Think about it. So if you play the game, you're at risk now. I don't know what that really supposed to... I thought that was supposed to release good... What do they call it? Hormones into your system. One never really knows, but I guess Dr. Bennett Amalu helped discover chronic trauma encephalopathy. Yeah, that's it. His discovery and struggle will be portrayed in a film set for early release on Friday. Now, Amalo also alleges that the NFL ostracized him for being African American, which is really kind of stupid considering that that most of the guys down in the field are not black. Used to be white man's game back in the 50s and 60s, but now it's filled with African Americans. Well, because a lot of them think that that's the only way they can get out of, the inner city and make things happen for themselves. How they make their paper. Gotta get my paper. And this movie is all about this guy courageously going after and finding out what's wrong in people's brains. Now, understand this is a particular type of disease that we cannot prevent. We don't have any known way to prevent it. It cannot be cured. All we can do is take the fleur-de-lis and use it as He's now, geez, for the first time in my life, I lost my thought. It happens, end of the year. You're trying to think of all the holiday stuff. You got holiday on the brain. You're thinking of family, friends, and all that kind of stuff, and things sort of slip your mind because I'm talking to you and looking at the screen and reading something else, and I think I just lost my train of thought. And I do that all the time. That's how I move forward with the next one, by talking to you and reading the next storyline at the same. Yeah, I can do two things at once. But anyway, the pathologist, which is portrayed by Will Smith in the upcoming film Concussion. Now, he's saying that 90% of these NFL players have some form of long-term... Look, this is something... I think Rush is right on this. They're trying to get rid of football. Think about it. They're trying to get rid of football. Because once you start saying that all this sport does is just cause concussion, there's nothing good that comes out of it, or the good is totally, completely, always outweighed by possibly the bad of it, then, yeah. That's what this movie's about. It's not like the story is like 40 or 50 or 100 years old. This is a new story. Must be easier for people to want to say to get rid of. Look, football is pretty much a capitalist dream. It's a wonderfulness of what America really is, of capitalism. Because you have to go out there and you have to be and do your best all the time. But you can't do that according to liberals, because that's unfair, because at some point somebody's going to be better than you. Yeah, but you just look down. You look down upon on all of your obstacles, and you say that you can beat them. You're going to beat your obstacles. But according to Omalu, O-M-A-L-U, and all the wonderful liberals nut jobs out there, they're saying it's unfair and unfortunate that you have to go out there and do something in order to make something of yourself. It's not fair that you have more talent than somebody else. Forget the fact that they probably put in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice and coaching and practice and work and practice. But that's not recognized as effort, because that's part of another job. But this current job, being an NFL player, well, that's something that is unacceptable to the left, because you're using your own brain, because now they're accusing you of losing your brain because of potential concussions, but you're out there using their brain and doing what we need to do to keep people in your sphere, or his sphere, I should say, safe, because he was in the security business. But if you take that out to our wonderful homeland, because it's the same thing. Homeland Security, by the way, not just Homeland. It's the same thing. I know you're trying to figure out how can I equate the two, but big government does not equal free market. This pathologist is actually advocating getting rid of the free market, that government needs to take over football, and that people need to stop actually playing it the way that we play it, because it's bad for you. Really, that's really what they're saying. I don't know how else to put it for you, but I think I'm going to play another song right now. I'm going to play the whole thing for you before we go to break. You ready for a whole Christmas song? I like this one. From Wesley Putnam, "O Holy Night," a replay.
Are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Led by the light of faith serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by his cradle we stand. So led by light of a star sweetly gleaming, here come the wise men from Orient land. The King of Kings lay thus in lowly manger, in all our trials, born to be our friend. He knows our need, to our weakness no stranger. Behold your King, before him lowly bend. Behold your King, before him lowly bend. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord, oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Isn't that just a wonderful piece of music? The reason for the season. And we'll be back after these messages.